This episode is brought to you by Bright Cellars, a personalized monthly wine subscription. Start by taking a short, fun quiz, and the algorithm, designed by 2 MIT grads, will recommend the 4 best wines for your tastes based on science. You'll receive 4 bottles of wine per month, and you'll never receive the same bottle twice. Go to brightcellars.com/wine-to-5, and you will get 50% off your first shipment.
It's not 5 o'clock, and they don't care. Welcome to Wine to 5. Entertainment, education, and everyday drinking for everyday people. Your hosts are Valerie Caruso and Stephanie Davis, 2 wine educators who don't need a clock to know when to pour that next glass.
Welcome to episode 99. Right now, Val and I are enjoying our retreat from snowy Colorado and being together as superheroes of wine.
I know.
Right? I totally feel like a superhero. We just went to a session that talked about be a superhero, and we're drinking a superhero wine, really.
Yep. Which is our superpower.
It is our superpower.
Yeah.
And what also is really powerful is being here at the Caribe Royal Resort in Orlando, Florida for the PodFest. Hashtag PME 2017. Yeah, so right now we're in between sessions creating a show for you. And besides being inspired by all these celebrity podcasters, we are inspired by this wine.
Right? And the cork says POW on it.
POW!
We'll post a picture. It cracks me up. Yes, we're both enjoying this here, day 2 of our 2014 Heroines Sonoma Valley Chardonnay from Iconic Wines, which we mentioned in a prior podcast. And we're drinking it out of our invaluable Wine to 5 Govino glasses.
It's so perfect because we could see the swimming pool from here. And that's what you need Govino glasses for. It's like for pool time, for packing for trips.
Right.
You know, all of this kind of stuff. But yeah, definitely it's more of a clunk when you put these two together. But yeah, day 2 of this wine is drinking great both days.
It is.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what we've got for today's show is pretty special for you guys. We've been holding on to some material that we thought would be needed right at the right time. And today is that day. Have we got you on the edge of your seats yet? Well, go get a refill of wine for this and sit back while you take a trip to Umbria on a private winery tour of Scacciadiavoli with me as your host. Okay, so I'm here with Joe at Scacciadiavoli, and he's going to give us a tour and tell us all about the history of the winery and what we can look forward to in our tasting coming up.
So we're here now in the courtyard of Scacciadiavoli, which was built in 1884 from a family named Buoncompagni Ludovisi from Rome. The name Scacciadiavoli literally means to chase away the devils because it was named after an exorcist who lived on the family property. So you can see that the winery kind of looks a little bit like a chateau in Bordeaux.
It does.
Because the architect studied there before he built it. The difference is that in Bordeaux, this would be the house, and these wings here would be the winery. Here the difference was that this is the winery, and these were the stables for the horses.
Yeah.
And now we have the office and the tasting room, and this is where we do the pasillo, which we can see. You can hear the fans going, drying the grapes now.
Cool.
So it's called Scacciadiavoli because there was an exorcist living here, and the story is that he would use his wine as medicine, the red wine from this territory. And his working name was Scacciadiavoli because people here are really religious and they're also superstitious. So it was probably just some kind of like local doctor.
Yeah.
And so instead of, if you had a fever, people would think they were possessed by the devil. Probably. So they would he was a local doctor and he would use wine as part of his medicine.
Yeah.
And so eventually the whole area, the town was named Scacciadiavoli along with the winery.
Oh. Okay, didn't know that.
Yeah, so we harvest them by hand. We do a first selection. So we want to find grapes that obviously aren't ruined in any way and a little bit less dense.
Can I
we
touch
harvest the first passing we do at Sagrantino is the harvest for the spumante, for the sparkling wine, because we want less sugar and more acidity.
Right.
The second round is for the pasillo because again we want a little less sugar and a little more acidity. And then we finally, in October, we'll do harvest for the dry Sagrantino. So this is the first selection. So these will stay here until around December, end of November.
Okay.
And they lose quite a bit of its weight in water. And so all the water evaporates, the sugar concentrates, and then when we ferment, usually around 15% alcohol, and between 14.5 and 16, the fermentation stops naturally.
Yeah.
Because the alcohol kills the yeasts, and it leaves usually around 80 grams of sugar per liter. So Sagrantino Pasillo is really special because you have this balance between the acidity, the sugar, and the tannins. Pasillo has been made in Montefago since the 14th century.
Right.
This is the traditional way to produce Sagrantino. There's the DOCG for the dry Sagrantinos from the 90s. And it's documented that they've been bottling and labeling dry Sagrantino from the 70s. There's a document saying they were producing a dry Sagrantino in the 20s, but basically it's something from the 20th century. Up until then, it was always Pasillo, and it's called Sagrantino because it was for the sacrament.
Yeah.
They used to use it for the mass, and it was brought here in the 14th century by the Franciscan monks from the Middle East. So this is harvested in the fall. It's usually fermented around Christmas time and traditionally drank at Easter time. Now we do a long aging process, but still is traditionally drank at Easter, and that's why it's also associated with lamb. It's typical to drink Sagrantino with lamb. So the winery is built on 4 levels, 3 above ground and 1 underground. So in the back, that third floor of there is ground level. And so there's this kind of natural amphitheater of the vineyards, and everything kind of funnels down into the winery. And so it's interesting because, again, it was built in the end of the 19th century, but it was a really modern winery. So there's aspects, again, the architecture from Bordeaux. There's some cement vats in the basement from Switzerland and Milan. There's the press was from Frankfurt in Luxembourg. Mm-hmm. And so it was just this really kind of eclectic industrial winery. We're gonna go inside. These are called the Damigiano. I don't remember exactly.
The Damigians.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how many liters there are, but this is how they used to store the wine. And they had a basket around it, and they would stuff it with straw. So these are all 10,000 liter tanks.
Okay.
And these are 4 of them with French oak. So as we do the fermentation, after the maceration, we have to separate the skins from the wine. And that's what we're doing today. Watch your head, because this will probably drip on you. So this is like, how do you say it in English? Pumice?
Yeah, the pumice.
The pumice, yeah. So basically, we take all the free flow wine and we pump it into another tank. So that's here. Then we shovel out all the pumice and we put it in this thing, which puts it, this is called the giraffe here, the giraffa. Ah. And it dumps it into the press. And we press it.
Yeah.
We separate the free run juice in the pressed wine.
Yeah.
This is an experiment we do where we ferment Sagrantino in tanks. This was new last year. Basically, that's the house you guys are going to stay in.
Sweet.
There. So we have 32 hectares on both sides of the hill. So this is due north. So the winery is built north and south. So it's really kind of easy to orient ourselves. So it's due north, that's due south. This is mostly where we do Sangiovese is down here. We have some Sagrantino here, and we have the whites. So we have Trebbiano, Chardonnay, and Grechetto, and Merlot. And this is mostly where we do the Sagrantino for the sparkling wines. Because we have a northern exposure, a little less like maturity. On the other side of the hill, at the southeast, is where we do the Sagrantino, dry Sagrantino. So we come down here, we put the grapes in the hopper, I think it's called, Tramoja. And this slowly lets the grapes down in the destemmer. Mm-hmm. And then from the destemmer, we have this thing called the Scacciadiavoli, which is like 15 meters of tubes inside, which cools the grapes down when necessary, especially for the whites or in the hot years. Yeah. And then at that point, you use these big tubes here. And from these tubes, it goes directly into the press if we're doing the whites or the sparkling wine down here, or the tubes go directly into the vats. It's really easy. So this is dry, just finished. I mean, if it's not dry, there's probably like 3, 4, 5 grams of sugar per liter. So we use this thing called the babo, which is this little way to kind of measure the alcohol and sugar levels, but it's not exact. It's just to kind of see if the whole fermentation's proceeding. And so once the babo says it's 0, usually there's around 2 or 3 grams, so it has to finish. And then depending on the quality, we do a longer or shorter maceration. Usually for Sagrantino around 30, 35, 40 days. So we shovel out the pumice as much as we can, and then at some point
Then
there's
you've
that
got the
ladder.
line in
We
there,
put the
you're-
ladder,
Yeah.
and you go down, and somebody shovels it towards the door, and somebody pulls it out. So you actually go in with all the pumice. It's awesome. Capello, the cap. So there's like
Yeah.
the whole level of skins on the top and the wines underneath.
Yep.
And so the whole idea of the pump over is just to mix this. And then afterwards we leave it for a few days, and every few days we do a pump over until it's time to separate it. Usually, this is the old press.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, check this out. It's amazing. So this is from 1884, and it was from. There's two labels. One's from Frankfurt and one's from Luxembourg. I don't remember if the actual press is from Frankfurt and the steel beams are from Luxembourg, but they used this until the 60s,
Wow.
70s. There's these train tracks that would come out, and they went all the way down the corridor to the end there.
Yeah.
And there was 2 switches that went down each corridor for doing this process to move the pumice.
So you'd press them here, it'd go down, and then the pumice
And where would the
go.
juice go?
I don't know. I imagine there was tubes that went downstairs. I imagine. I'm not sure because there's all these tubes and tunnels all over the place for like air ventilation, water stream, all that stuff. And I can show you guys other photos. I saw a winery this summer in Greece, in Paros, and I've seen a winery in Wachau on the Danube, where they do the Grüner Veltliner, and I saw a winery in Austria, and I saw a winery in Croatia, always on the Danube in Slavonia. All from around the same period, in the 18th century, they're all similar. They all had the train tracks. They all have these cement tanks built around the same time downstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah, like architecturally, they're all really similar. So you could see that the information was really traveling, and people were. So there's this like air chamber that goes around the whole winery. It's also to let water go, like drainage, but they say that like having the air around it helps a lot with the humidity downstairs. All the hill, there's these like handmade terracotta tubes under all the fields for drainage.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you find them. We had some up here the other day. Like got dug up. We do some plowing in the fields, so there's smaller ones in the winery. They're about this big.
Huh?
And then there's these bigger ones
And it's
that come out. You can see they're coming from all the different directions.
Yeah.
For the drainage. These are from 1884.
okay. Here we go. So what are we trying?
So this is Trebbiano Spoletino, and it's just must. So we've harvested this.
It's good.
It's great. I haven't tasted it, but usually shouldn't drink too much must though, because get your stomach working. Tasting it's okay, but yeah. So we do a cold fermentation.
Okay.
Yeah, this is great. We've had this since 2013. It's French oak from a producer in Piedmont. It's called Gamba.
Okay. Do they do all of your barrels, even the?
No, those ones are Taranso, which is a French producer.
Okay.
We have Gamba downstairs for the aging of Sagrantino.
What is this acto? What does that mean?
To be. So this is going to be Montefalco Bianco. This is all stuff for laws. So this is Sagrantino this will be Sagrantino 2013.
Okay. And the Bianco, is it just Trebbiano, or what else is it?
No, the Montefalco Bianco is Grechetto, Chardonnay, and Trebbiano Toscano. Until this year, that's changing the DOC from 2016 on. And now it has to be, I don't want to make a mistake, but I think it should be 51% or more Trebbiano Spoletino.
Okay.
So we rented a hectare Trebbiano Spoletino this year.
Just to get over to that 51%.
Yeah, and now we're planting here.
And this is just Trebbiano in here. Okay.
So this is Grechetto, and it's done with the fermentation, but
And do they blend anything into the Grechetto, or is it 100%?
the Grechetto is 100% Grechetto. And we do all the fermentation separately, the Montefalco roast, everything. And then we blend and then we age.
Yeah.
So this is the Grechetto that will become Montefalco Bianco.
Okay.
So this one is, we can't taste it because it's only filled up to about here. This is one, it's the same wine that's in these barrels.
Okay.
And we do the selection table for these. I have some pictures
Oh,
of
where you
that
pick
too.
the grapes.
Berry per berry.
Yeah, berry, yeah.
It's awesome. Every berry is selected, so it's only
It
perfect.
just feels like you're doing fine.
This is why it's
work.
amazing, like the value of these wines.
Here's inside the
Oh
tanks.
yeah, like you were saying.
My like psychedelic pictures.
And why is it just one? I mean, obviously it takes a lot of time
because
to get all of
it
that.
took like 50. I mean, because basically we harvest in the crates, we put them in a big refrigerator outside at 4 degrees Celsius for 24 hours.
Yeah.
And then we bring the destemmer down here. We destem it, select it berry per berry, and it took us, I think, 12 hours with 15 people to fill one tank. Just
my
the hand
God.
selection. So it's a whole day of everybody working just to fill one.
Then what goes in this tank?
Other than that, we do that selection, obviously, out in the vineyard, and we put the whole bunches in the destemmer, and from there it goes directly into the vats.
And do they get blended?
We don't know yet.
Oh.
So what's the deal? Like,
The first time we did it was in 2015. So if that gets released, it'll be in 2020. So everything still now is still separated.
Oh, okay.
And
so
so,
it might be like
yeah, we might do another label, but up until now we've never done a reserve of anything.
Okay.
Because, like, for example, there's a wine producer here that does a Montefalco Rosso Reserva, which is excellent.
Okay.
So this is,
Little
yeah,
rinse
this is
pour.
Sagrantino that's with the skins, but finish the fermentation.
Yeah. All of them still are with the skins, right? We
Yeah.
saw them upstairs.
I got the glass over.
Okay, we got it, gooey.
So this is the ground floor. This is the original pavement, obviously.
Nice. Well, he's taking pictures, I think. And then there was a little sign out here. Was it just says barrel room? Is that what that word is? What is it?
Barriquilla.
Yeah, the barrel, like all the barrels.
How do you say it?
Barricaia. Barricaia.
Okay.
And upstairs is the Tinaia, because the Fermentini.
Okay.
Tino. This is Sagrantino aged. These are 3,200 liter barrels. This is Gamba again. Those are Montefalco Rosso. These are Tonneau, which is 500 liters Montefalco Rosso. This is Stockenberg, which is an Austrian producer that's really popular right now. We tried one. It's great. But we like Gamba better.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, but we tried one with the 2014. We had the same
So
the
this
same
one,
wine.
This one's bowed in and this is flat.
Yeah, it's cool. It's really beautiful, I think. If you go to any winery in Italy, most people have at least one of these. Really popular right now.
Cost-wise, what is the difference?
They're a little bit more expensive,
Okay.
but not so much.
And you said you put the same wine into these different...
And these two,
That's-
yeah, these two, this is 2015. These two are the same. But we like that one better.
You do?
I mean,
Okay.
So here's these holes in the winery that we pass the tubes down.
Oh, okay.
This upstairs is the small fermentation, and on the other side is the big one. And if you want to bring a wine down, you just hook up a tube and bring it down and do everything by gravity. It's great.
And what are these? You can tell the.
Yeah, those are to keep everything full. We got to fill them up every so often because wine evaporates just to avoid the oxidation. I'm not mistaken. Somebody told me recently that this concept was invented by Leonardo da Vinci.
Oh, I've never heard that. That would be a good factoid.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Somebody told me that last week. Now we're under the destemmer eventually, so that the whole thing outside is up here. You can see where they cut the wall out to roll the barrels in that.
And how many barrels are in here?
Like 33. These ones from Beaune, from Bourgogne, I think are 228 liters. And then the normal ones from are 225. So these are from 2005 as well. We mostly use old wood. We buy usually around 10% of new wood every year for Sagrantino just to keep the vintages consistent. So this is the oven, like a furnace, wood burning. Where they would take, this is a well here.
Wow.
It's really scary. They're all over the place, these wells. And there's just groundwater everywhere, all over the place. They would take the groundwater and they would turn it into steam. One, to clean the wood, because to clean barrels, you can only use hot water and steam. And also pump these, there's tubes all over the winery to regulate the humidity. You can see it would pump the steam out of these. These are all like trap doors all over the place for air ventilation, so you can open and close them. They go all throughout the winery.
And is that an old wooden barrel?
No, that's that cement barrel I was talking about. So it's divided into two halves. And it's not the whole, it's not round, it's actually a square, it's the whole room. And we have access to put the ladder up, and there's two holes in the top, one for each side, and that hole in the floor is right above it. And so we marked it, we tested it, so you can barely see it anymore.
It's like...
This is the liters, this is the measure, and you can see the sign on the top, 1909. Because there was the World's Fair in 1905, and this producer from Switzerland came out with the concept of using cement for aging and fermenting wine. That was our first time. And so all these wineries that I went to, they're all from between 1906 and 1909. But this is pretty important. This is, I think, one of the only cement tanks, or the only cement tank in Umbria. This is Sagrantino 2015. Here in a barrel from 2006.
Okay.
If you want, we can smell it.
Yeah.
I don't have there's coolers.
The thief.
The thief, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. That's basically it.
Dude, that's great.
That was great. Excellent job.
I hope you all enjoyed your tour with Steph into the bowels of Scacciadiavoli, or the cellars.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
learned a little something about that. And we're going to go ahead and move on to shout outs because we got to get back to the conference. But we met some really great people here. And so we're going to shout out to Copper Junger, podcaster from Life Under the Laundry Pile.
Woo!
Yeah.
We totally love Copper. And we also met another great lady, Heather Ash. She's a podcaster from her show called The Happiness Mama.
And Dr. Ryan Gray, podcaster and the man behind MedEd Media Network, the media school headquarters.
I know. He's all about getting people into med school successfully. So that's super cool. And we also both met separately Leanne Dolan. She is one of the hosts of Satellite Sisters. Yes, the NPR show from the early 2000s.
Yeah.
I know, it's wild. Like, these are celebs.
Like, I used to listen to you in my car on Saturdays on my way to the lab when I was in grad school, and she's like sitting next to me, so it's kind of really cool. There's
So many great shows, too, to choose from here. Like, these people, you just like, there's a show for everybody.
Oh, and Amanda Dowdy from her podcast, Great Beer Adventure, she's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah, and we're looking forward to getting together with her.
Yeah, you guys are going to be hearing a little bit more from Amanda on beer, so.
Yes, and then your fangirl.
I know.
Time yesterday.
I know, yes. Yes, I got to meet Jennifer Briney, the podcaster and host of Congressional Dish, and she is super awesome, and she likes to drink, and you might be hearing a little bit more from her, too,
So, yeah, I think this brings us to the end, but we do want to give some Patreon love to our Patreon supporters. Thank you guys, our Tenacious Tasters, Jeff E. from We Like Drinking, Lynn from Savor the Harvest, Sebastian from Sassy Italy Tours, and our It's Not 5 o'clock and We Don't Care listeners. Thank you, Meg from South Dakota, Clay from Arizona, John from California, Andrew up there in Illinois, Michelle in Nevada, and Aswani also in California. We thank you for being a part of our Wine to 5 listening and wine drinking community. Don't forget, each month we draw a winner for a bottle of Albarello Luxury Hand Soap for any Patreon supporter at the $2 a month tastemaker listener level or higher. So go to our Patreon page for details. That's patreon.com/wine25podcast. There's also information there about our new t-shirts.
Yeah, and you know, somebody approached me today and they said, oh yeah, I saw your t-shirt. They said,
Yeah.
what's your podcast, Wine to 5? We saw your t-shirt.
Nice.
They make an impression. They really do. And share the love, guys. If you want to get more involved with the Wine to 5 community, well, you can. Right now, here's how. But we'll have some really cool stuff coming up after episode 100. But you can share our show. Link it, tweet it, Facebook it, grab someone's phone, help them subscribe and push play. Or leave us a burning wine question or a comment on SpeakPipe. Or how about a glowing review on iTunes or iHeartRadio? But wait, there's more. Check out our store where you can score wine books and accessories for sure. It's on our website along with Facebook links, Twitter, Pinterest, YouTube, Google+. It's all on our page.
And she's so good at rapping. That's Val Master Rap.
Oh my goodness. That's the second glass of Chardonnay. Hey.
Hey, that's good. That's good. You can tell we're just a little bit excited about being in Florida, and we're a little bit excited about Podfest. So if you want to find out what we're doing here and how to connect with us, Val is on Twitter at WineGalUnboxed and on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest as Vino with Val. Steph, I'm on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube as Albarello Soap. And I'm also on Instagram and Pinterest as The Wine Heroine, as in the heroin Chardonnay we're drinking, actually. But this is what's really exciting, is that next episode is episode 100. Holy moly.
Holy moly is right. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Yep, so we'll be back next week, episode 100,
Oh my
Val.
gosh. Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you for listening to the Wine to 5 podcast. Be sure to check us out at Facebook/WineTWO5 and tune in next week for more fun and useful sip tips.